Man, grow up, man.
A huge win for the Rams for sure. But this was a big matchup. There was a lot on the line in this game. And from a Bills standpoint, was this just a bad loss or a bad sign of things to come, Keyshawn?
I think it's a little bit of both for me. It was a bad loss and a bad sign, because here's the sign part of it. You had an opportunity to really stay right there with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now you done slipped behind them 2 games, even though you've beaten them. Now you've kind of got, you're looking over your shoulder at Pittsburgh. So, but it was a bad loss and all. I think, though, they ran up against a team in the Rams that I knew would fight. But I just thought that all this praise over the last couple of weeks, obviously well-deserved for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, I just thought they would understand that the moment in coming to L.A., much like Detroit, this is a playoff game. Every game from here on out is a playoff game. Even though you're not eliminated in the playoffs as if you were in the playoffs, but you trying to get that #1 seed, and you got an opportunity to have it. Now you play Detroit next week, and you stumble up into Detroit. Now all of a sudden you got Pittsburgh done jumped you. Now you fall to the 3rd spot. Do you really want to be in that position trying to get to the Super Bowl? I'm not sure, just based on watching them lose, because Kansas City wouldn't lose to the Rams if this was the case. They just wouldn't, Michael. They wouldn't, Joy. They would not, Paul, lose in this situation to the Rams. Would figure out a way to win that damn game.
Well,
they would just figure it out.
Kansas City is our champions.
I understand that, but you're trying to be champions. And if you're trying to become something in upseed Kansas City, you got to do the first step, which is take care of business against the Rams. Now you done put yourself 2 games behind. Now you're still tied with Pittsburgh for the #2 seed, but you getting ready to play Detroit.
Yep.
That's going to be a tough out. Detroit got Philadelphia sniffing behind them. So they coming to play. They coming to play and win the game. Now all of a sudden, Pittsburgh is looking to leapfrog you and take that #2 spot. That's my only issue that I have. That's why I say it's a bad loss and a bad sign, because you're supposed to, in this moment, this magical moment, grab a hold of it.
Bad loss or bad sign, Paul?
I think it was a bad loss for a lot of the same reasons that Key said, because it pretty much takes you out of the running of the AFC. Because I said, I think the Buffalo Bills, I think they could beat Kansas City if they get into an AFC championship match. But they need the home field advantage and that for that to happen. So definitely a bad loss with the Detroit Lions coming up also. But it was a good sign, because, I mean, think about what Allen has been just doing out here. I mean, it's the things he's doing is just ridiculous. And you are going to have to beat Allen at his best, and that's tough to do, and we saw that last night. So if he's going to continue to play like this, it was a bad loss, good sign for him. But moving forward, I would like for them to, if they get Detroit, it makes up for the loss of the Rams, though, because I feel like they'll win out after that with New England Jets and New England ahead of them. So it was a tough loss, but they can make it back up if they beat Detroit.
Yeah, now in this era of only getting one team with a bye, and that magnifies things, because you used to be you get 2 teams with a bye, and it wouldn't be as bad because you could try to work back into one of those byes. But now you're looking with such few games, did you lose the bye? But I don't think it was that bad of a loss, because I looked over the landscape. I started this thing talking about those 2 #1 receivers, Addison and Jefferson, and watch this whole thing go through this. The Bills lost to a team with 2 #1 receivers that I think could beat anybody in the National Football League on any given Sunday, and that's the Los Angeles Rams. Now, I was looking through this. I don't see where it's going to be a problem down the road, because I don't see any other team in the AFC with that kind of weaponry. You see, the Chiefs certainly don't have 2 #1s that will dominate you like Puka and Cooper. That's the name I gave that couple, Puka and Cooper. You know what I mean? Puka couple. Baltimore, they don't. You got to have the 2 #1 receivers and the great schemer, the great schemer. And that's a dangerous combination that the Rams have right there. Chiefs don't have it. Baltimore don't have it. Kansas City. Chiefs, I already said Chiefs. Cincy, the Chargers, Broncos, or the Steelers. So I'm not. If I was really worried, one of those AFC teams, Cincy has it, but they won't be there. It'll be hard. But since it has that, but none of them other teams, so no, I'm not worried about it moving forward with the Bills.
You know, they got a quarterback.
Yeah.
They got a running back.
Right.
They got a tight end.
Right, and I love Bateman
and they got a little fast dude,
and
then they got
Flowers,
another
right,
dude in Bateman.
right, and they got two tight ends. Actually,
Do you know they got a guy in
about?
Sutton?
They talking about Baltimore.
Oh.
You know they got a young dude in Sutton, and then they got they got a quarterback who's learning. They got a head coach that's pretty good. I'm just
but that Matthew Stafford and Puka Cooper thing, that is dangerous in the National Football League. I'm telling y'all, teams better be careful with that. But the Bills and what Josh Allen is doing is incredible.
See, I think it's more of a bad sign because I don't think it's a bad loss because I have a lot of respect for the LA Rams. This was a playoff team last year. They do have Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford, who were Super Bowl winners. I know it was a long time ago in 3 years, and this is a completely different team and all of those things. But this is a team that, when healthy, can beat anyone in the league. You have to put the proper respect on. If you don't think that the team as a whole is that good, you got to put the respect on Sean McVay that they're going to be prepared. And it was a road game for Buffalo, so I don't think of this as a bad loss.
All the way across the country.
Right. I think this is a perfectly appropriate loss. The Rams are not a bad team at all. They've had injury issues all year. Cooper Kupp missed 3 games. Puka missed 5 games. Tyler Higbee's missed 2 games. This is the first time in the season they've had a full allotment of offensive linemen available to them. So this is a loss that makes sense to me, even if Buffalo is not able to capitalize on this moment the way that Kansas City would. This loss makes sense to me because I put respect on the Rams and Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford and a healthy team.
The Rams certainly deserve the respect. The reason I say it's a bad loss, though, is because the moment. You were supposed to be the team that's going to upset the Kansas City Chiefs, the Reign. You was getting ready to be the MVP guy at the quarterback position. When you go to play Detroit, I can almost guarantee you.
And that's why it scares me.
That Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator of Detroit Lions, will not allow Josh Allen just run up and down the field. He's going to spy him to death.
But that's why I'm saying it's more of a bad sign. Because now you're in a position where you're going up against the best team in the league in Detroit, and then you could be in position to lose 2 games in a row, even with Josh Allen putting up 6 touchdowns and doing something that's never been done before, and 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. So it's more of a bad sign because I think that the Rams are perfectly capable of doing this to anyone in the league.
Right. But the thing is, as long as you're perfectly capable of putting up 42 points, you're good. You gave them all the reasons. They came all the way across the country, and they still put up 42 points. To me, that's everything. I want you to understand, we are in a league like the Arena Football League. I first started calling Arena Football. It's really like almost you just got to get 1 or 2 stops in a game. These scores are going to be 44 to 42 when you get these offensive ball games, and you get a quarterback, and this guy here, 3 touchdowns throwing, 3 touchdowns running, that's unheard of. That's unheard of in this league. So, yeah, and you putting up 42 points, I don't have any problem with what that was just a loss on any given Sunday in the National Football League to a very good football team.
Well, what did the Rams prove to you then?
That I don't want to see them if I'm in the NFC, because they will come and spoil a party at any time. That combination is deadly. And then Coach calling that 4th down play, and they're running that little trap thing for Puka and Cooper, however, it's just insane. It's hard to stop. It really is hard to stop. And Puka is quickly saying, you guys got to start talking about me as one of the best receivers in the National Football League. Now, Sean McVay does a beautiful job of scheming people and getting them open. He's a great coach. He's a great coach at it. But what this dude do and how he does it is a little bit different. And man, I mean, the catches he makes, the body control. I see why they were talking about those Cooper Kupp rumors and trades and everything, because that dude right there is a real superstar.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Hey, the Rams are going to be the biggest threat if they can win their division, and I hope they do, because I'm a big Ram fan. I hope they do. I hope they overtake Seattle, hopefully get the 3rd seed. They are going to be a problem because they haven't been healthy the whole year. When you look at their schedule, they lost 4 of their first 5 games because of health. They didn't have certain guys in and out of the lineup, but now that we've seen them at full strength, what they can look like with a Sean McVay, with a Stafford Super Bowl winning culture.
Ooh.
This is a team that could be in the NFC Championship if they make the wild card. Or well, they're not going to make the wild card. They're going to make the playoffs by winning a division. So you guys better watch out. I mean,
that's a bit scary.
You better watch out for this team right now. They're scary because they have all the pieces and they have championship DNA in that locker room.
I don't think they proved anything to me. It's only been 3 years since they won the Super Bowl. I don't think Stafford is washed. I don't think Sean McVay is washed.
No.
They went to the playoffs last year. Yeah. They've been dealing with health issues. Like I said, they haven't had their full allotment of offensive linemen available since week 13. They started the season off struggling because of injuries, and injuries are not an excuse to give to everyone, but it could be an explanation for why they look better now than they did earlier in the season. And the Rams are a team that people like to write off quickly because when they look bad, man, they look bad. They look bad. But they remind you that when they have everyone available, that they have the best coach in the division, that they are a Super Bowl winning combination of coach and quarterback, and that he is going to put his players in the best position to win the game. They're going to be prepared. They're going to be smart. They're going to take advantage of the moment. And that's all they really have to do. Are the Bills a better team overall this year than the Rams? Probably. But that doesn't matter in this situation. So the Rams didn't really prove anything to me. I agree with you. If they get in the playoffs, I would be...
It's scary.
I would be prepared to play them.
And then we'll have to start talking about, Key, if Matthew Stafford takes this Rams team to the Super Bowl, how great is he? All of those other conversations. If it wins his second win this year, because that team does look scary.
They got a coach that knows how to coach the offensive side of the ball. The only thing that the Rams' offensive side of the ball, Puka and Kupp and Williams at the running back position and Sean McVay dialing it up, I like the offensive side. I'm not so in love with the defensive side of the ball for them.
Yeah.
I just, when I start to think about the teams that they could face, the Green Bays, the Minnesotas, the Detroits of the world, Philadelphia's of the world, being able to stop their high-octane offenses that they have, can the Rams do that? Now, look, if they're healthy and they win the division and get into the playoffs, they're going to be a tough out. Because when you've been there, you've done it, you know how to coach in the playoffs, all of those sort of things is very true. It's just watching them against the Buffalo Bills, I just thought that Buffalo would approach it differently. Because traveling means nothing to me. It means nothing. You can go across the country, you're traveling. Okay, well, you can go right up the street and play on an opponent. It means nothing. Because people look at it and go, well, they traveled all the way over here. Well, yeah, they did. And they've been here enough time to get adjusted to the stadium with no problem at all.
So home field advantage doesn't matter?
No, home field advantage is a different situation for Buffalo because of the weather. This was a neutral site, essentially, because it was an indoor stadium. And Buffalo had more fans probably in the building than the Rams did, believe it or not. Believe it or not, the Buffalo Bills travel very,
Buffalo
very well.
fans travel very well.
So it's not a situation where you...
It's not a hostile environment.
No, it's not. It's not a hostile environment
at all. It's still a road game, though.
Yeah, but the Buffalo Bills, though, we've been talking about them for the last couple of weeks. They were 3 on my big list behind Philadelphia and Detroit. And I took a little heat from guys like Paul about putting them 3. Now you see what happened when they go on the road and they lose to the Rams. They may drop come tomorrow a little bit.
We're getting a little preview.
Well, this is interesting, too, though. One thing I'm sitting there thinking about is listening to Key and talking about the Rams. This makes me more scared, even when I first proceed thinking about it. When you look even through the playoff teams, wherever the Rams will have to go, all except Philly would I be scary about. No, I would worry only about Philly. Everywhere else, it's pretty much set up. Minnesota, you got a dome.
Yeah.
Detroit, you got a dome.
Yeah, Philly's the only place they're going to have
a dome.
Philly's the only place.
Anywhere else you go,
Tampa
you got a dome.
Tampa Bay's outdoors, warm weather.
Right, warm weather. So Seattle. This makes it even more afraid. It makes me even more afraid because the weather's not going to be a problem. They're going to be able to use that Puka Cooper thing on you all day long. And I'm telling you, you can't stop it. You cannot stop it. I'm just telling you. I watched it last night. Said you can't stop this.
He's a big dude. He is a big dude. People don't realize how big he is. And Cooper, both of them know. Cooper Kupp's not small.
Cooper's big dude.
For some reason, they think Cooper Kupp is small.
Right.
Man, Cooper Kupp's 6'2",
200,
2 and some change.
2 and some change.
2 and some change. And Cooper and Cooper's probably, I bet you he's 6'3".
Puka.
Puka, yeah. Puka.
What's the nickname? Puka. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.